Hello and welcome to episode number 16 of 11FS Spotlight. In this weekly show, we shine a spotlight on the best and brightest in the tech and financial services industry to try to understand what gets them going, growing, and what they think of the future of the industry will look like. Today's show is brought to you by MyTech, digital identity verification trusted the world over. Secure more high-value customers whilst reducing risk and costs with MyTech, a global leader and enterprise partner in identity verification technology. And also, just before we get started, I wanted to tell you about MLB. Now, MLB isn't just another hard to remember acronym. It stands for Minimum Lovable Brand, which is the 11FS approach to creating modern, iterative brands to help cut through the noise and create a genuine connection with customers and their culture. Brand is everything right now in this digital first world. We want to help you guys get it right. So to learn more about Minimum Lovable Brand, MLB, and to download our free handbook, please head to bit.ly/11FSMLB right now. Cool. On today's Spotlight, I am delighted to be joined by Giuseppe Caltabiano and Egi Messito, who are the co-founders of Everup. And we're going to be talking about gamifying savings and how we can create better financial habits. How are you doing, guys?
Hi, Adam. Thank you very much. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. Where are you guys dialing in from?
I'm dialing in from London.
I ran away in Italy for some time, a few months ago.
Nice. Is it warm weather in Italy, or is it's still cold?
It's much better than there. I mean, I'm in the south, and most of the time we have like 15 degrees. We're getting a bit of rain now,
wow.
Most of the time it's way better than that.
Yes, and this week has been particularly bad in the UK. Well, bad or good, depending if you like snow or not. Look, a big part of this show is your involvement as listeners, your questions. So please leave them in the comments sidebar, and we'll be answering them live for you today as we go through the show. Let's start off, if we can, guys, by just getting to know you, what you do. I suppose, Giuseppe, we'll start with you. What's your role at Everup? And obviously just a very brief introduction in terms of what the product is.
Yeah, I'm a co-founder together with Egi at Everup. So Egi and I are long-time friends. We know each other since 2006. And we come from different industries. I spent 20 years working in the financial services industry, while Egi spent the same amount of time in the lottery and gaming industry. We basically, so we wanted to create something together that combined our different skill set to help people in their daily lives. And when talking about money, we were frustrated by our experience in our respective industries. The financial services industry gives people automated or complicated tools to save, but none of them speak to your emotion or address the human's desire to receive instant gratification. Meanwhile, the lottery and gambling industries drain your money, rarely giving anything in return. And that's basically where Everup came in, how we came up with the idea of Everup. We did a lot of research. We read a lot of academic research on the positive impact of the price-linked saving scheme, and we designed Everup.
Cool. And I guess who we'll get into sort of some of the features and functionality in a sec, but who's the application for, and where are you guys at the moment in terms of the life cycle of the build and release?
So basically, the app is for people that struggle to save, because most of us, why we don't save? We have a self-control problem. We can't self-discipline ourselves, and that's because the decision to save requires rational thinking. So basically, what we are doing, we are turning saving from a delayed gratification into an instant gratification. By embedding free-to-play instant games and lottery into a money account. Our target audience are people that struggle to save, or people that end up playing the lottery a lot of time and wasting money. People that actually save with premium bonds, for instance. And people that, so the target, say, age group is very wide, 20 to 50 years old.
Yeah,
cool.
if I can add something about it.
Sorry.
I was just going to add that there is a bit more concentration in the range of 25 and 35, 45. It's something that we see also from the mailing list registration. And the split men-women is almost even, with a slight tendency towards men.
Cool. And then that's interesting. And then where are you in terms of I suppose the build life cycle? So we talked just before the show that you guys were sort of on the verge of releasing or coming out potentially into a wider beta. I guess like from a customer numbers perspective, waiting list perspective, where are you guys at right now?
In terms of development, the app is on both the Play Store and the App Store, which wasn't trivial. Eventually, we chose a technology that could allow us to have the app ready almost at the same time on both platforms. It's React Native. Most people working in IT will know it, and at least on the front end. And then we are using the latest technology on the back end, using all the AWS suite. Now, in terms of the production, the app is on the market actually. And we are onboarding family and friends, so we can start to train the muscles of the processes. It's not trivial when we talk about, having the lotteries where there is a potential liability, of course, and banking features where we have to make sure that the transactions are safe, the ledgers are consistent, and all the rest. So we have a lot of testing to do also, and we want to make tests with the real banking and real transactions as well.
Yeah, because it's a super interesting, almost a super interesting differentiation between, on the one hand, sort of regulated safe banking transaction saving, and then on the other hand, I guess there's this concept of the lottery, which is always, I know in the context of premium bonds, it's worked for the UK for many a generation. But in terms of, I suppose, public perception and the merger of those two worlds, they couldn't be more polar opposite in terms of keeping your money safe and then obviously participating in games like the lottery. How have you guys found that process, and how have you come to a proposition that works, which sort of aligns those two differing factors and two differing customer jobs?
Actually, go on, maybe. Then I'll add something.
It is important to note that customer money with us is never at risk. We run a so-called no-loss lottery, which basically means that we award you coins, virtual coins, as you perform certain action or as you save, and you use those coins to access our games and play and potentially win cash prizes. But your money remains protected, is never at risk. So that's an important differentiator. And then the price-linked saving scheme is something that has been studied by academic research, and so there are quite several papers that prove the positive impact on society of the price-linked saving scheme whenever it has been tested, especially, for example, in the States. And wherever it has been tested, there is evidence that there is a substitution effect from gambling to saving. So you can see that there is a decrease in gambling activity and a parallel increase in saving of the same magnitude. Then obviously here in the UK there is a long time tradition, because premium bonds have been are a very popular saving vehicle, and so therefore it's nothing new. What we are doing, we are bringing that experience into a digitally native format, into an in-app experience. And obviously we are enriching it with a number of features that are designed to help people solidify good financial behaviors. We start with gamifying saving, with incentivizing your saving behavior, and then we have a roadmap of other things that we want to do in the future to gamify your personal finance life and to help you solidifying good financial behaviors.
And how, I mean, from the mechanics of how the application works, you're doing I think, is it a weekly draw where you can win up to £365,000, and then sort of daily cash draws as well as that? How does that work, I guess, in terms of the actual, so if no matter, you save to accumulate points and coins, which is great, because as you say, it sort of incentivizes that behavior of saving, and changes the behavior of potentially of people who don't save at the moment but might be attracted by the prospect of having sort of a gamified savings account. How does the actual, on away from the financial services side, but potentially, and Egi, this might be one for you, on the lottery kind of the gamified point, how does that work in particular? And is it kind of you have to pay to play, or you use your coins to play, and then
yeah, that's a fundamental question. And I was before, when you asked the question about that Giuseppe actually answered, I was going to add that the difficult thing to explain, first of all, is that you don't pay to play the lottery, because obviously everybody is used to the idea that they have to play by paying. So when you play traditional lottery, there are three fundamental elements. There is the prize that you potentially could win, there are the odds, and there is the price that you have to pay in order to enter the game. Now, out of these three elements at Everup, there is missing the price to enter. There is the prize, there are certain odds to win, but you don't pay to enter. Therefore, it's also difficult to compare with traditional lottery in that way, because it's not the same product, right? We are not paying to enter the lottery, so we cannot certainly compare with the 100 million euro millions jackpot. So you pay £2.50 for that. So this was very difficult to explain to partners, and I guess it was easier to explain to customers rather than to potential partners or other businesses, because the first thing they say, oh, it's a lottery, so you have to pay. Of course,
yeah.
And when you try to do something new, there's always this you try to make something new, relating the product you're building with something that exists, but at the same time, people are biased by the fact that that thing that exists has certain parameters that you expect. So there is no prize to enter the lottery. So how does it work in terms of odds, or in terms of what do you win? It's a bit more complicated than just talking about what is the probability of winning in terms of odds, because out of the coins that we give, the virtual coins that we give, you can play more than just the lottery where you win. You potentially could win £365,000, and we call it premium year just because it's like £1,000 per day. There is also the daily cash raffle, which is instead based on how much savings you have set aside. So, for example, if I have £1,000 and you have only £50, my probability of winning the daily cash is higher than yours. So, in that sense, the odds are me against you. The more I have, the more likely is that I'm going to win. And in that sense, the mechanic is more similar to the premium bond. The premium year lot instead, where you can win potentially £365,000, that one is on fixed odds. The odds in the game are similar to the Italian Superenalotto. Right. You have to match certain numbers. And in that game, you compete against the maths. You compete against the pure statistics. Then there are other games that are like the Wheel of Fortune, where you can boost your virtual coins. At the moment, you only win virtual coins. We want to do cash as well, but obviously one thing at a time. In the future, there will be Wheel of Fortune, where you have cash prizes as well in the near future. And so overall, when we look at the probability of winning and the offer itself, we have to look at the whole umbrella of products. And if that was not all, actually, if there's not enough, actually, we have to look at also at the full suite of products also on the fintech side, on the financial side, because now we have the cash account, but there are other things that we are going to add, of course, in terms of saving account, in terms of card, because it's about saving, but then it's about also spending using the same concept, embedding the same fun elements, the same chance elements, making saving, and then eventually, if you save, you're spending for some purpose. You want to buy that phone that you wanted for so long. So we make also the spending experience interesting, and we have a roadmap for that.
I mean, it is. I mean, from my perspective, and I think from the industry's perspective, savings is a super important product, if not the most important product, because obviously so many people struggle to save, and yet it's actually, you know, the complexity of the product. If you're working in finance, it's not actually that difficult. You know, the concept of saving is you know, and you know, applying a rate and, you know, opening up a savings account. The actual process isn't that difficult. But one of the things that has always, you know, for the last, I think, decade, that we've certainly been asked questions, and in a prior life I was asked questions, which is how do you gamify savings to make it more interesting? And loads of people have tried that, and fintechs recently have tried that, obviously, with things like rounding, which is kind of interesting, and sort of micro savings, and that. This is a different take on that. It's sort of obviously taking the premium bond, or the concept of premium bonds, and changing it around. How much do you feel that gamification is crucial for savings, or for changing savings behavior, and B, I guess, how much do you think that it's gamification in this way, so you know, by playing games and other things, is the winning formula? I think it's super interesting. Like, I think the collectively, holistically, your application and what it encompasses is really interesting, and I'm just really keen to get your thoughts on that.
Well, look, I think the next frontier is, as you just mentioned, gamification of saving and personal finance. In the introduction of game design and game mechanics into saving products, personal finance products. In the US, you have, for example, Robinhood, who is trying to do the same thing on the investing side. I think in our mind, making things fun is solving a problem. If you turn a boring product into a fun product, you can win. So we believe that gamification of savings, game design, will be a thing of the future. The more a product feels like a game, the better the odds for success. Rewards drive engagement. Putting habit-forming pleasure into a proposition. In the end, having fun while achieving a goal makes it feel magical. And you know, there are so many things that you can do, because if every transaction, especially a transaction consolidating a positive financial behavior, can get a random reward. For example, you open the app to see what you have won this time, and you couple that with social and viral rewards. For instance, you can team up with your friends to have higher chances to win, or to win bigger prizes. That can drive forward, can increase the engagement, and we can help you solidifying good financial behavior. So we can help you improve your financial health in the process, because that's in the end the goal, helping you fix your financial health, improve your financial health. So we start by gamifying saving, and then we want to apply the same price-linked framework to other aspects of your personal finance in the end, personal financial life in the end.
So just a quick one, a couple of, I guess, more functional questions. You guys just recently had a really successful round on Crowdcube. You raised just shy of $500,000, which is amazing. How will that support you guys, I suppose, through the development of the application? And I guess intertwined with that is what is next for you? Is it a scaling, or is it in terms of customer acquisition, or is it a scaling of features?
Look, we have raised money because we wanted to fund our initial operations. So launch the app in beta now, achieve product market fit, and gain market traction. We also decided to crowdfund, to partner with Crowdcube, because, among others, because of their successful track record in helping fintechs specifically to raise capital. And it has been a fantastic experience. we received an incredible level of support and positive feedback. We ended up overfunding by 300% plus versus our initial target.
Fantastic.
And why we did it? Because raising money through equity crowdfunding makes even more sense if you are offering a B2C product, because your crowdfunding investors will be your early adopters in the end, your initial supporters. You start building a community. And in fact, now we have already a community of more than 700 investors that are already very engaged with our product, and hopefully will be our evangelist. And in the end, look, it's also a question of the culture, the commitment that you want to have. Our most important commitment is that we want to build Everup together with our customers, together with our community. We want to involve them by listening to their feedback, their ideas, and ultimately anything that we can do to create a better experience, a better Everup. Therefore, we aspire to be a radically transparent company as we seek to build a community that loves our product and that we want to involve in the development of Everup. And that's why we have also published on our website our vision, our roadmap, our product roadmap, what we intend to do, and we will continuously try and seek feedback from our community to build a better Everup.
Cool. And how difficult has it been? I asked you this actually just before we came on air, but I was interested to know how difficult it's been to develop this product during COVID. And I'm sort of interested in so far as just understanding how startups work and how startups are built, and the close collaboration that you need within the teams certainly early on, before there's any sort of structural process in what you're doing to sort of an enterprise level. So I'm just kind of interested in getting your take in terms of what it's been like over the last 9 months, especially as you've led up to friends and family.
Yeah, actually, it's been very hard because eventually you have to balance the time between trying to find good resources, but you cannot spend months to do that, and you have a very constrained budget. And there are these are kind of things that when you are in the corporate world that don't matter too much. Probably if we were both myself or Giuseppe in our previous job, we would have spent easily $1 million to do what we have done now, but we had to do it much less. So as people say in startups, we had to do more with less. And every time you do, I did it already once with a platform that I created before, and and still, every time I think every time you do it, you probably face new challenges, because you have to understand who can actually do the job in the way and to the, let's say, to the quality that you expect. We were lucky because Sergio, that is working with us from some time now, is an absolute master in everything that he has, everything that is IT. You throw it at him and he will understand it, and he will master it in a few days. But implementing the banking features, for example, is something that it took a bit more than we expected, because the ledgers have to be really consistent, and it is certainly not just implementing an API from your money provider, or all the authentication, the strong authentication, factor authentications, all these kinds of elements. They are not trivial at all. When you have to orchestrate your app on double platform, multiple phones, doing the strong authentication, and then opening an account, and everything has to happen at the same time and orchestrated with your backend and internet connection, yes or no, and all these edge cases, as they call them, is not trivial. Then eventually you set down somewhere with the people that you trust, that you feel that they're doing a good job, and then you feel, okay, now we are going to eventually pull it out. But I guess everybody can say it's a very difficult job to do, especially for the budget and time constraint, because every month is burning a lot of cash.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I was going to I was going to ask around the e-money accreditation and how that worked. I mean, how difficult, I guess, was that process? I'm not sure who you've partnered with, so it'd be interesting to know if you're allowed to say. But in terms of how difficult that process was and how onerous it was on you guys as a startup, I'd be really interested to know that.
So we are basically an authorized agent of Modular FS. So Modular is an e-money institution which powers other big organizations here in the UK as well. So we are acting under the umbrella, the regulatory umbrella of Modular, and we are also leveraging their platform. In terms of, we are also lucky to have been accepted into the Fca Innovation Lab. I think here in the UK, the regulator is absolutely fantastic in terms of the support that they offer to fintechs, to startups. Is something which is unrivaled. It doesn't exist anywhere else in Europe, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it is amazing. Modular, an incredible company. They're powering all sorts. I think Moneybox are on them and other savings applications. So I think you're in good company. That sounds great. And just very quick, I suppose, from a 2021 perspective, what do you see for this year? I mean, in terms of the growth of the application, the customer acquisition that you might get or that you hope to get, and then therefore, additional features and releases that might, as a consequence, follow. Where do you see, I guess, if we're in Q4 this year, where do you see the application being in terms of its growth?
Well, look, obviously we are launching in beta, and we have a growing wait list. So our priority is to gradually onboard people as customers. So obviously we want to give our priority to our crowdfunding investors and people then that have subscribed to our early access list. And by the way, whoever would like to do that can do it on our website. At everup.uk, and then obviously we hope to come out of beta soon, and obviously we have a pipeline of features, products that we want to launch. But our priority obviously is to reach product market fit with what we have with our inaugural product, which is the price-linked money account. Then we want to add, applying the same price-linked framework, we want to add other personal finance products that we are currently designing, that we are currently thinking. And because in the end, we want to build a financial hub, if you want.
Cool. Okay. No, that makes sense. That's great. I mean, it's a super exciting application. I don't think I've seen a company, even a fintech, thus far take on the kind of the world of premium bonds, if you like, and doing it in a modern way. And that way is looking at, I suppose, the incremental way that you save, focusing as well on financial education and rewarding saving, but then also intertwining that kind of gamification element in such a way as you guys are doing. So it's really, really interesting, and a use case that I think will get a lot of attention, just because of the the different functionalities within the application. So that's great. You mentioned your website. Is there, if there's prospective customers listening to this, and is that the best way to get in touch with you guys? Are you on Twitter? Are you on Insta maybe? I don't.
So Everup is on all the social media. So you can find us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have also a YouTube channel where we publish several videos on showcasing the app, or videos from our investor explaining why they have invested in Everup. So it's quite an interesting channel. So I invite everyone to subscribe to that channel as well. And personally, both Egi and myself are on LinkedIn and Twitter as well.
Great. I've got one more question, which is what's if people would goes to your website and you look at your logo, you've got a multicolored hummingbird. Is there a reason for that? I guess is there a sort of a story behind it?
Yeah, no. Basically, look, we have chosen a colorful hummingbird because hummingbird they are seen as a symbol of joy, playfulness, and good luck. And there is something magical about the hummingbird that makes it like no other creature on Earth, because unlike all other birds that need to travel forward to stay aloft, the hummingbird can also hover. It can stay in the same spot by rapidly flapping their wings. So we thought that this resonates very well with our name, Everup, which underpins our desire to help you become financially strong and independent and live a financially happy life.
Fantastic. I've invested during lockdown in sort of bird seed. I've sort of turned my garden into a bit of a homage to birds, to just to draw some excitement in during the day. I haven't had any hummingbirds yet. I don't know if they exist around here, but I'd love to have one. I get a lot of robins, but anyway, we're off on a tangent. Thanks so much, guys. Thank you so much for turning up. I actually, genuinely, I mean what I say. I think it's a super interesting concept what you guys have created, and I really wish you well across this year with the rollout. What you mentioned just LinkedIn just before, is that the best way to get hold of each of you individually?
Yes, I think so. On LinkedIn or Twitter, that's the best way. We engage. So on a personal level, you can find us there, and then obviously on the Everup website, there is indicated how you can reach us via email. We'll soon put a chat as well. So
fantastic. Good stuff. I wish you all the best, and a healthy and safe 2021. And to our audience, that's all the time we've got for this week. Don't miss our other live show, which is Newsroom, which goes live on Tuesdays at 3:30 GMT. That's 10:30 AM ET. And in Newsroom, we take a deep dive into the biggest news stories of the week every single week. Have a great week, everybody, and thanks for tuning in.
Thank you.